More police are being outfitted with surveillance cameras these days, dash cams, body cams, eyes everywhere that keep watch. But we're not sure this situation is one that anyone had in mind. Tomorrow will be an emotional day for workers at San Bernardino's Inland Regional Center. The site of the terror attack that took 14 lives is reopening, and there's also a private memorial for victims.
Pilot.
The investigation now will look at 3 factors to determine the cause of the crash: the balloon, its operators, and the environment. Micah, Mary Beth, this is that non-hazardous white substance that shut down the beach for a matter of hours earlier tonight.
The driver's side window is down here, and there's just water, there's some personal belongings, some water bottles. Now, this is stuck in the mud. It's sunken down in here.
What visit would be complete without a Gryffindor robe?
Chug, 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 chug.
Awesome. Well, this is the last weekend you can take a selfie stick with you into Disneyland. Starting Tuesday, they won't be allowed into the park.
As 70,000 gallons of water flooded Eagle Rock streets, residents were angry and outraged.
Just to let it go down the drain is just wasteful.
We watched as they scrambled using the flood to water their lawns, fill up buckets, even clean their cars.
I think this will be a good time to have a free water.
DWP officials say the water was being drained from a corroded pipeline that had to be replaced as part of repairs at the nearby Eagle Rock Reservoir.
That's not fair.
But after Sky 5 got this video of the reservoir, we discovered the problem was even worse. DWP told us the reservoir was empty and 7 million gallons of water wasted.
So I'm really shocked.
All this comes amid California's historic drought as the state approved tough new restrictions that limit outdoor watering, among other things.
Everybody needs to do their part. Everybody needs to conserve up and down the state. We're in a very serious drought situation.
After KTLA started asking questions, DWP crews used these trucks to capture some of the wasted water in Eagle Rock before adding it to another reservoir. And now, because of our investigation, DWP is changing its policy and says it will capture water instead of releasing it into storm drains.
We know that we have to use water as part of our business when we replace pipes and fix infrastructure, but we are looking at how to do that differently because it's going to get worse this summer with the drought going on.
LA City Councilman Jose Huizar says the wasted water is unacceptable and plans to introduce a motion Wednesday asking DWP officials to explain what's going on.
It's mind-boggling. It's outrageous. This should not be happening in a time when we need to save and conserve as much water as possible.
When Robert Francis Kennedy was assassinated at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles in 1968, Paul Schrade was also wounded and shot in the head.
I didn't know I was shot. I thought I was being electrocuted because I was shaking so violently. It just fell and passed out on the floor.
The 91-year-old Kennedy family friend and labor advisor told a parole board last week that convicted gunman Sirhan Sirhan wounded him for others and not Kennedy.
A life term is unjust to him and to Robert Kennedy and to me.
Schrade says a second gunman inside the hotel's kitchen pantry was responsible for the 4 bullets that hit Kennedy. This is the only known recording of the gunshots, the Brzezinski recording. It was accidentally made by a freelance newspaper reporter and recently uncovered. While the FBI says a 2012 analysis of the recording, encouraged by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., was inconclusive, Schrade says forensic audio experts have confirmed it recorded 13 shots and 2 guns were fired.
They totally ignored evidence 2 hours after the shooting and 2 days after the shooting with sworn testimony that Sirhan couldn't and didn't do it.
Schrade says he's uncovered documents that show serious misconduct by the LAPD and the district attorney during their initial investigation. On one page, Kennedy bullet not fired from Sirhan's revolver, documents that say laypeople would in all probability have difficulty. The investigator who handled should go, and this sketch of distances and ballistics, what experts say is inaccurate, all withheld from the defense and jury in Sirhan's 1969 trial. Now Paul Schrade is calling on LA County District Attorney Jackie Lacey and LAPD Chief Charlie Beck for a new investigation.
We know the case and they know the case, and they can't face up to their public and legal responsibility of dealing with the second gunman who shot Robert Kennedy.
And we talk about public safety, and in this case, the tinted windows also leads to that concern of officer safety. They don't know who else is in there. They don't know if he's armed. It leads to a whole host of other questions. But as we approach this 2-hour mark of the pursuit, the question of gas and mileage comes into play. I'm looking up, just Googling now, that a Lincoln Navigator similar to this gets only about 15 miles in the city, 21 miles per gallon on the highway. We don't know how much gas he had in his tank, but at some point, he's going to have to stop potentially because those SUVs are a little bit of a gas hog, and so that could be a factor in this.
And back out here live, this is where that car ended up. You can see that the windshield here is shattered and there are pieces of the car, even the bumper left behind. Before this, the car actually slammed into one of the apartment units here, and that apartment now is yellow tagged. This entire episode lasting just about 5 minutes here on Saturday night. I wanted to show you, this is what's left here of this patio, splintered wood. You can see what's left of the fence, even this skid mark here.
Happens. And before we go, in order to inspire you to participate in all of this, I want to show you some signature dance moves. So if you see me out at the club, I typically do this thing. And my photographer Victor is playing some music, so don't be alarmed. And here's the other one. This is the sprinkler, the lawnmower. Something like that. And this one's a little out of date, but I think I'm going to bring it back just for right now. This is the fax machine.
Oh, wow.
You nailed it.
I don't know if I could even do that one if I tried, Kirk.
Should we try it?
Maybe. Yeah, Jim can catch it.
You want to try to catch it?
Go.
In my mouth?
Yeah.
That was our third.
It did it.
That was the third one.
Triple crown.
That was amazing.
Speaking of